A reading from Through a Looking Glass Darkly by Jake Fior.
Montmartre, Paris. Once again, Mathers could feel the cold breath of time at his shoulder. He had bathed, shaved his face, and removed all of his rings and amulets. For a moment he stood naked in front of the mirror and studied his reflection. The face that stared back at him seemed older than he remembered, though the body was still lean and muscular, a testament to the daily bouts of harsh physical exercise he had forced himself to endure. Mathers opened the door of the cupboard and removed a simple cotton gown from the rail where it was hanging. He placed his arms through the sleeves, slipped the gown over his head, and let it drop. There would be no crown or sword for tonight's ceremony. Nothing but this thin sheet of cotton to separate him from the way he had first come into this world, for even a king must tread softly in the presence of his Maker. Mathers carefully turned the brass handle of the outer door and entered the temple. The room was lit only by the soft glow of candles and a shard of blue moonlight that filtered in through a gap at the top of the curtains. In the center of the floor, there was a large gold-painted pentagram within a circle, each of the star's 5 points touching the diameter, like arms outstretched to the universe. It was beautiful in its simplicity, but beauty must always contain at least one imperfection to elevate it from the superficial. For what is music without silence, or day without night? Now he would have to embrace the darkest areas of his own nature, and it was a journey from which there was no guarantee of return. Mathers took a few minutes to clear his mind and control his breathing. He took deep, slow inhalations, held down low in his diaphragm before being gently exhaled. No external thoughts could be allowed to intrude. His whole being would act as a lens, focused, powerful, precise. With his breathing and heart rate slowed, he felt a burning energy surge around his body. He would use his mind to balance the power and submit it to his will. Only now was he ready to step into the circle. Sitting cross-legged with his hands resting palms up on his knees, Mathers bowed his head forward and began to slowly chant. Kamahan Astara Makana Ratok Astara. His voice broke the stillness of the temple. Kamahan Astara Makana Ratok Astara. The candles flickered as if in answer to his words. Kamahan Astraha Makana Ratok Astraha. Mathers could feel the air around him becoming warmer and more humid as a gentle mist began to seep into the room. Kamahan Astara Makana Ratok Astara. The temperature was still rising as the first beads of sweat ran down his neck to be absorbed in the cotton of his shirt. Rocking gently at first, Mathers' body soon began to sway as he lost himself in the rhythm of his chant, increasing in tempo, the last words catching up with the first, until the whole became a single, unified pulse. Kamahan Astara Makana Ratok Astara! Kamahan Astara Makana Ratok! Forms were taking shape in the peripheries of the mist, hideous and bestial. They were neither man nor beast, but something altogether more ancient and monstrous. Then came the sounds, barely audible at first. They rose and fell in time to his words. Wailing and tormented like nothing he had heard before, they echoed around the room in waves of horrible intensity. Mathers sat suddenly still in the center and bade his spirit lift from the temple floor to rest above his earthly form. Images rushed fast into his mind. The ruined palace of Solomon, falcons soaring high above the Indus, Hashanins in the gardens of Alamut, a vortex in the house of the dead, white lakes of cloud above the dark horizon. Everything he had seen was returning in this moment. Unbound from the ties of reason and logic, he would once again give himself over to fate. The pressure in the air was heavy as the rain began to fall. A sudden bolt of lightning flashed outside, illuminating the evil countenance of his audience below. Thunder shook the window frames as Mathers surveyed the seething mass beneath him. "Behemoth, get back!" he commanded, and up through the roof, into the rain-soaked sky he rose, with a diabolic horde following close behind.